This episode of The Casual is brought to you in part by Squarespace. For all your website needs, Squarespace delivers it in an all-around package to help you build a beautiful, integrated online presence. Brand themes, that's what we're talking about today. Brand themes are at the heart of the philosophy of your label and definitely should be a well thought out process and consider it, especially when you start thinking about who you plan to market to. But some brand themes are so played out that really is a sign of laziness, and we need to point those out because they don't necessarily go beyond the surface. So as your boy Reggie Casual, I got five brand theme cliches that were once okay, but now are just predictable and flat out terrible. I'm sorry. All right, so before we get into it, what the hell is a brand theme? It's basically what you decide your brand is going to be about. It's the about page on your potential website. It's generally a message on how to appeal to your market. That's why a lazy cliche theme is so terrible, because it's either too broad or it limits your ability to think outside of this particular box that you've woven for yourself. I'm not sure if you weave boxes, but that's what a lazy theme does. For example, we have the first on this list, and it's the follow your dream brand theme. Now, this is the most hilarious and overused trope in street startup brands in particular. Yes, we get it. Follow your dreams. Go big or go home. Problem is, we already know that. And how the hell am I gonna follow my dreams by paying for yours? That makes absolutely no sense. You see where this is going? Also, dream brands aren't always specific about what actual dream they are talking about. Like, is it a sports dream? Is it a business dream? Is it a life dream? The woman of my dreams dream theme? It's just too vague. It's just terrible. If I don't know what you're talking about, then I can't co-sign it. It's just like the next one, the hustle brand theme. That one's always good. It's like the dream brand, and it focuses on like doing what you want to do, but the hustle brand is more about doing whatever it takes to do what you want to do, but it has the same issues, because hustle, that is a commendable message. If it wasn't asking me to do whatever it takes while at the same time making me pay for your hustle. Now, I don't have to give you all the deets because it has the same issue as the dream brand. With an overall message of hustle, it speaks to so many, it's a large swath that it doesn't define its own lane. The next one is not as bad. It's the ethnic pride label. It's definitely not as bad as the last two because you are doing something effective. You are focusing on a particular ethnicity, a particular culture as your market. However, what you're doing is you're limiting the amount of customers or potential customers that you could have by alienating everybody else who's not of that culture. Sure, you can focus on certain ethnic persuasions, but if the goal is to grow the brand beyond its roots, there should be some interest that pulls in other people. Next up is my all-time favorite brand theme, the anti-renegade loner, not a brand theme. Absolutely love these because they make no sense whatsoever. Like, how the hell do you have an anti-brand brand? Coincidentally, these kinds of brand themes were heavily influenced by the anti-social club era. The anti-brand theme plays on social tropes to the point of hilarious hypocrisy, as many use the theme to prey on the minds of the socially awkward by giving them clothes to wear. It's odd, but also easy to spot and overly used to exhaustion. Like, nobody cares if you don't care, and you want everybody to know that you don't care by wearing it on a shirt. Don't fall for this, and don't use it. It just doesn't make any sense. And finally, we all know it, the freedom brand. The freedom brand, it's always good. We've all heard it, we've seen it, and we're collectively tired of seeing brands stand on the soapbox of be free, do what you want to do while wearing my shirt. It's absolutely ridiculous. The problem with the freedom brand is that it misconstrues early street brand fashion into a simple, cohesive theme that is far too broad and boring. You think Supreme, oh, that's a freedom brand. No, it's a skate brand, and skate is like freedom in a way. Because in this case, nobody knows if you just use a regular bland freedom theme. It's like, it's just freedom for the sake of freedom. It's such a lazy call for a brand theme that it has no vested interest in anyone or anything. It's just, if you want to be free, like our brand. Well, how about this? I have the freedom to ignore that. like, and you can just be mad at that. But hear me out. I know you guys don't want to hear all of that negativity. Maybe you have a brand that has a theme like this and you're just freaking grinding your teeth at the screen right now, just upset. Instead of you getting more upset, I'm actually going to give you some tips on how to expand these themes into something even better, to make your brand that much better than it ever could be by using some of these tropes that we already went over. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get in a message from our sponsor, Squarespace. In the fashion industry, the competition is fierce and your presentation has to look solid from jump. That's where Squarespace comes in. Beautifully designed templates, easy to use web building tools, and social integration make Squarespace the perfect choice for the budding entrepreneur or even the savvy professional. Plus, by using our link, squarespace.com/thecasual, you could save 10% when you start. So get that business off the ground the right way and use Squarespace today. Theming out your label or business can be a big deal. But remember, the more detailed you are, the more focused on the customer profile you can be. And eventually your broad theme turns into something more personal and focused. And people can have a connection to it simply by you being more detailed about it. For example, for the dream brand, you can focus on an activity that is common with following your dreams rather than just follow your dreams. Things like music and/or sports dreams are really popular ones, and they can tie that into the design and the approach. For the hustle brand, same thing. But maybe you can focus on business or entrepreneurship, or you can even infuse that into the design of your garments. Like instead of making tees with like follow the hustle or something crazy like that, why not make a brand that focuses on a street business casual fusion where the actual pieces tell the kind of story of hustle you want to tell? The ethnic pride label is a bit harder but falls into that same kind of category. Instead of overtly stating that this brand is for X ethnicity, again, you can infuse the design elements from that culture, from that ethnicity into the clothing, where people of that particular ethnic persuasion can appreciate it and notice it without it alienating individuals that might like it because they dig the styles or the features of it. It's almost like a subtle way of teaching people about culture. Now, as far as the anti-brand theme, just stop. or make an all black silhouette brand, or just focus on the garments themselves. Like if you don't care what people think about what you wear, you don't need to wear it on a graphic design on a shirt. You should be focusing more on what individuals in your group appreciate. Maybe they appreciate a particular designer and you don't care what other people think about that particular designer. This is the evolution of the anti-brand theme. It's more about doing whatever it is that you want to do. And finally, we have the freedom brands. And these are also kind of like a cop-out. But if you must play on the freedom bit, the most useful are themes surrounding travel or a particular activity that's in the subculture, or fighting against oppression of some sort, or protest style labels. You can infuse that into the designs, into your technical design, instead of just print and being overt. Use all of design to kind of help you portray the message that you want to portray to your potential audience. The whole idea is to dig several more layers deep when it comes to brand themes. It's important to remember that you are a designer, and as a designer, you have an obligation to look at things a bit more introspectively than the average person that isn't a designer. Because these focused themes are easier to market and they can dictate the overall process, and makes it much easier for people to notice exactly what you are trying to convey through the clothing without you even having to say much. Tons of successful labels do this. Think of Alix, think of a Cold Wall. They all do this. You notice it. They don't have to say a word, but you know they're for a particular type of individual. With that being said, I want to leave the floor to you guys out there. What are some brand tropes and themes that are just played? They just don't work. They're unfocused. They're too broad. State them in the comments, or just your general thoughts on what you saw here. But most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international street fashion and culture from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And I'll see you guys in a minute. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give a thumbs up if you liked the video. Follow on Instagram for the latest out of Japan and beyond. And if you want even more content and business tips, all you gotta do is become a member right here on YouTube or on Patreon at patreon.com/TheCasual. But most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international street fashion and culture from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. よろしくお願いします。